The dinosaur barbarian girl. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. That had me hollering out loud only because who has not watched a cartoon and walked away from it with those songs in their head? And then and you were like, in your intro, you were like, let's see if this song sticks in your head like it's stuck in mine. Yeah. So that
Yeah.
happened.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. So talk to me other than the impetus to bring the cartoon to life. And let me just note that I love that you made him smelly.
Yeah.
I love that my dude was smelly and
Yeah.
that we never see that in a cartoon theme song.
Yeah.
What was your inspiration other than the cartoon theme songs to bring this into a short?
I came up with this idea with the short circuit program in mind specifically, which is we have some framework to work within in terms of like time duration.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that I wanted to make a lighthearted, silly story, but that I also wanted it to have a little bit of a message to it and not just be, I don't know what the right word is. I wanted it to have a little bit of a message to it. And so the idea for this short was actually born, I was making a joke at lunch at work about like, oh, there could be a short about a cartoon hero learning work-life balance because that's something you never see. And it actually was Riannon, she's actually over here, who encouraged me to submit because I came up with the idea actually a while before I even submitted it. And she was the one that was like, you really should submit it. You need to submit this idea. And finally I was like, okay. And now here we are.
I think both of your ideas were brilliant ideas because they speak to children in two very different ways. They speak to the fun side that children like to, grab onto by watching Saturday morning cartoons. And they speak to the scary side when the sun goes down and the cartoons are over and they have to go to bed at night in a dark room. So I love the dichotomy and the differences between the two. What was the most fascinating day that you had in the process of getting this produced by Disney? Because Disney is one of the premier animation studios in the world, not just in America, but in the world. And here you are having your dreams come true. So what was that one day that when you walk away from this, you'll be like, oh, I'll remember this forever? Kim?
Honestly, for me, probably when we went to sound mixing, which was the first time seeing it big on the theater screen for sound mixing. And also attached to this was finding the perfect sound for the dinosaur's voice was like such an adventure to figure out exactly. And it's one of those things where when it's not quite right, and then when you finally get the right one, you're like, that's it. So being in that sound mixing booth, hearing everything with like, they give it the full Dolby bells and with like everything. It's like beautiful, lush sound filling your ears. That was the most surreal because that was the most outside my normal work experience where, Riannon and I are both CG character animators at Disney. There's a lot, even when directing, we're exposed to like a lot of the same things that we would be as animators. I mean, a lot more and a lot deeper, but a lot of the same things. But sound mixing was the one that was the most different and so much fun and amazing.
I can tell your eyes lighting up about it. Is that the same for you, Riannon?
Yes. Like Songs to Sing in the Dark is such a percussive short. And I think where it really came home was I was doing a cruise screening, and we have like different kind of viewing rooms throughout the studio. And we all piled into this one that holds maybe 40 people. So it's like mid-size. And I played it once, kind of mid-volume, and people were like pumped up because it's the kind of short that gets you pumped, kind of like Kim's short. But then everyone's like, crank it all the way up. And so I turned the volume to max, and like the walls were shaking. It was so loud. And people were like almost yelling through the whole thing. It was like being at a rock concert. It was bizarre.
Not a rock concert. You're like, why are people like going like, what's happening right now?
It's like a mosh pit for Songs to Sing in the Dark happening. Yeah.
And for both of you, growing up, what was your favorite cartoon to watch?
Favorite cartoon to watch? Well, I guess this kind of connects to Dinosaur River in a little bit, but my absolute favorite cartoon was Disney's Gargoyles, which was part of Disney Afternoon. I loved that show so much. I loved it. Like, could not get enough.
I actually went through a phase where I watched Beauty and the Beast every day for a month. I would literally wake up at 5:30 in the morning. I'd watch it all the way through and then go to school. And then I'd do it again the next day and the next day and the next day for like a full month. I was obsessed with The Lion King when it came out. I loved the Ghibli films when they came out. I don't know. Like I've always kind of gravitated towards films, not so much television.
That's okay, but at least you gravitated towards something. I love that you watch Beauty and the Beast every day. That is pure comedy.
Yeah.
I had a cousin that watched The Little Mermaid, and she would sit right. She had the DVD, not the DVD, the VHS. Mm-hmm. And she would put it in and she would sit right up on top of the TV and sing Part of This World. She would just rewind it to that part and just sing Part of This World over and over and over and over again. It used to make me holler out loud. And she would be like, part of this world. She would just be living her best life. But anyway, that's my time, ladies. Thank you so much for sharing your gifts with us and for talking to me about it. It was wonderful. I really enjoyed both of them so very much.
Thank you, Carla. It was great chatting with you.